Hey guys, Matt Fede with Realty Executives, Elite Homes in Nutley, New Jersey. And the question I'm going to answer today is Nutley a safe place to live? I'm Matt Fede with Living in Nutley, and I'm going to go down a couple of things that I know about the town for living here for a lot of years. And maybe you soon to be homeowners that are looking for homes in Nutley, New Jersey, you had this question. Is Nutley a safe place? Is Nutley a great place to live? Well, in my opinion, Nutley is a great place to live, especially if you're coming from areas like New York City, Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, or you're coming from an area that's a little more congested and you want some air and you want some space and you also want a beautiful home, one that you can raise your family in, one you can feel safe in. And the one thing I can say that Nutley is a super safe town. It is probably one of the safest towns in Essex County, New Jersey. And we are local to everything. We are 13 miles out from New York City. We are 15 miles from Newark, New Jersey, or shall I say Newark, New Jersey, how some people pronounce it. But yes, Nutley is a great place to live. Nutley is also a safe place to live. Nutley is also a safe place for families. We have a lot of families that gravitate towards this town because of the school system and the park system and the open space that we have for such a small town. We're only 3 square miles and we're comprised of about 12,000 households, with the average price range being around $450,000. Now, that all depends on what you're looking for. We also have several townhome communities like Cambridge Heights, Sleepy Hollow. We also have another one that's on the border of Nutley in Belleville. It's called Essex Park. These are townhome communities if you like a community where you don't have to worry about mowing the lawn and shoveling the snow and all that other fun stuff, and you want a gated type community. We have that as well. Nutley ranked, I believe, number 12 in the safest towns to live in New Jersey, and there's a lot of towns in New Jersey, and 12 is not a bad place to be. And if you think about it, we're 3 square miles. We're 3 square miles, so we're not a really big town. Unlike Belleville's about 6 square miles, somewhere around there, and Clifton's a lot larger. And then you have our neighboring large metropolis type cities like Newark, which is about 20 minutes away, right down the Route 21 corridor. And then we have Route 3 and Route 46 and the Parkway. So Nutley is really a great town for accessibility. And if you want local restaurants and places to go eat or some nightlife, we have that along Franklin Avenue. If you saw some of my other videos where I actually had videos of some of the local businesses and eateries and all that fun stuff. The other thing is the Nutley school system. We have several different schools. We have several different elementary schools, and then we have our grammar schools, and then we have our middle school, and then we have our high school. Nutley's comprised of different sections of town, and there usually goes along the way of which school they belong to. So you have the Lincoln section, you have the Spring Garden section, you have the Radcliffe section, you have the Washington section, and the Lincoln section. Overall, all schools are good. I know years ago there was a lot of difference between Radcliffe and Lincoln, but a lot of these schools have come up to par now, and the school system in Nutley is rather well. And the other thing is the big park system that we have. We have a phenomenal park and rec system. We have parks that stretch from one town or one side of the town to the other side of the town. And our police and fire department is, I would like to say, the best in the state. We have a fantastic police department, a great fire department, and our services that we have in town are, we have a lot of good services in town. Unlike some other communities where they have some issues with their services and their taxes may be a little lower. Nutley's taxes tend to be a little higher, but we're not the highest in Essex County. And right by our neighboring town like Montclair, their taxes are higher. Again, Montclair is a different type of town. Nutley is a small mom and pop type feel, and our luxury market starts anywhere from about 600 to 700. I would say the highest price homes are maybe like a million, maybe a little over, and that isn't up until recently where we had a home sell for over $1 million. And if you're looking for old world type of construction, we have plenty of them. We have a lot of homes that were built during the turn of the century when Nutley had a direct train from New York City to Nutley. We don't have that train any longer, but we used to, and that's when the town started to get built up by a gentleman by the name of Will Lambert. Um, yes, William Lambert. Yeah, Lambert Homes. So anyhow, what we're talking about here is Nutley a great place to live? Of course, I'm biased because I'm from the town. I live in the town, and my kids go to the schools in this town, and my office is in this town. We're located in Nutley, so who better than a local realtor to give you the insight on what's going on? Nutley has a lot of things going on, especially in the summer, especially in the spring, and even in the winter. It's a great little Christmas-like town. When you drive around the different parts of town where people have all their lights up and everything else, and these big old grand homes that have been here for 100 years, which are, just some gorgeous. If you love Victorian type homes, if you love old colonials with columns and everything else, we have a little bit of new construction going on, but a majority of those type homes sit up in the Nutley Park section. That's Highfield Lane and Satterwaite and Nutley Avenue. So Nutley has a very diverse culture. We have a lot of eateries. We have Italian food, we have Spanish food, we have Greek food, we have all different types of food that you would enjoy if you came into town and checked it out. I would advise you to come on by on a weekend, come by, stop by the local shops, check out some of the local restaurants and everything else, and get a flavor of the town. So the question is Nutley a great town or a great place to live? I think it is, especially if you're going to come here and raise a family, or if you're looking for your starter home. You can get a nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, 3-bed, 2-bath, something on a 50 by 100 lot. The one thing Nutley doesn't have, you don't have large parcels of land. You have homes that have probably were built around, anywhere from the 1900s to the, 1930s, 40s, and 50s. And, these are homes that have, probably had, multiple families live in them. But, and some of the homes are being rehabbed. Some of the older homes have been updated, modified. And, talking about that, buying an older home, the one thing that Nutley is good about is we have a very strict building code. So when somebody buys a home in Nutley, the one thing that has to happen is the seller has to go through the building department and get what's called a certificate of occupancy, and it has to make sure that everything is up to code. So that's the one fail-safe for new home buyers. When I speak to them, that's one of their concerns if they're going to buy a house that's falling apart. There's also home inspections and all the other fun stuff, but we can get into that in a later video if you want. But buying a home in town, I think, is a great idea. I think Nutley is a great place to live, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. You can reach me. I'm Matt Fede with Realty Executives in Nutley, New Jersey. Just Google us and you'll find us. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about moving to Nutley or living in Nutley. All right? So Matt Fede, Realty Executives, Elite Homes. Talk to you soon.